No! Yep, that's the way it goes sometimes. But I think little snafus like that add a little character and make it more interesting, especially when using watercolors, which happens to be the medium I'll be using today. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go. I like to start my day with a quick journal entry. I write about how I'm feeling, what I'm thankful for, the days, my dream from last night, family. It could be pretty much about anything. I write freely for about 3 pages. This is an exercise I learned from The Artist's Way, a great book for any creative. Maybe at some point I will do a review on this book. It's that good. So my next step in my day continues with the topic of the day, which is watercolor, or my watercolor drawings. I feel these drawings further help me get to the flow state for the day, or haven't been doing them for quite some time. I've been able to gather a handful of content that I can either, wrap and sell, or I can use for scrapbook to show my progress. There are times when ideas are hard to come by, and I hit a roadblock. I'm just like anyone else. But what I do to combat that is I start with 3 drawings. I think of a simple pencil sketch with a theme. Sometimes, I create a social story in my mind that the viewer has to decipher. Sometimes I use this as an opportunity to try out new character ideas or styles of drawing. And once I get my pencil sketch down, now it's time for the watercolor, baby. At this point, using watercolors, all the anxiety and fear and resistance begins to creep in. Seeing those lines, that this watercolor is for sure going to bleed all over, right? Sometimes, at this point, the only way to deal with and the thoughts in my head is just to dive in, like diving into the pool for the first time, to get that initial shock over with. After that initial shock of putting watercolor to page, everything after that is pure joy. Even if I go outside the lines. I'll say this though, if this was a client piece or something I was working on for something special, I would be definitely trying to stay within the lines and make this an immaculate piece. But be sure, colors do bleed, and in watercolor it's going to happen. And so I try to complete these 3 pieces in one session, which might take up to an hour, depending on how fine I'm trying to be. At this point, I'm just letting the watercolor pieces dry out. And depending on the type of paper, they like to curl up, which if you don't uncurl them, it makes it difficult for me to start my inking process. So, to uncurl, I just roll them the opposite direction and put them under a weight to decrease the bowing. Now, I can ink them. Once I've inked the entire image, which may take a few days of coming back to it each day for about 10 to 20 minutes, I will switch to the markers to fill in the shadowy areas and help boost the color separations that I want to emphasize. Step 10, my favorite part, is adding in the highlights. This is like adding icing to the cake. But seriously, I want it to sparkle. I want to take it to a whole new level. When I get to this point that the highlights look good and I'm feeling good, like I've completed this piece, I'll sign it. Once the piece is completed and signed, it goes into a box. And sometimes, unless I go back on purpose to look at them, I'll forget all about it. Good or bad, the stroll down memory lane is always fun. The joy that I get from seeing the numbers compound over time is only surpassed by having someone purchase one or more of these at a show or an event. So there you have it, my morning routine using pencil drawings and watercolor pieces. So if you're thinking about using watercolor or starting something new that you'd like to get good at, I suggest you build yourself a routine like this, and by simply making it a habit of spending 10 to 20 minutes each day, I guarantee you will soon be seeing major improvements in no time, be it writing, music making, or even something outside of the creative realm, like exercising. So take your time with yourself. Learning something new, because nobody starts out an expert. It takes time and effort and repetition to get good at anything. So I pray your journey is well, and don't forget to check back. So yeah, I hope you like this video. It's kind of maybe something a little different. Been away for a while, but back. If you like this video, because it's showing a little bit of behind the scenes of how I start my day with a pencil drawing that turns into a watercolor image. Yeah, subscribe. If you want to share with me your personal start to your day, your creative day, leave those in the comment box below, like I always do. I wish you a blessed day, and I'll see you in the flip side in another video. Let's go!